What's up, you guys? It's Sir Scrub here, bringing you some more Scrub tier Yu-Gi-Oh! And in today's video, I'm going to be giving to you guys my WindWitch True Draco Invoked deck showcase for the upcoming Master Rule 4.5, Master Rule 5, whatever you want to call it, format starting in April. Now, this is an official announcement. I will be going on hiatus starting after this video is released, so this will be the last video you see from me up until Master Rule 5. I'm going to be spending all of my resources preparing and getting ready for that format, because I feel like that everything that happens between now and then is basically irrelevant, and considering I don't go out and play much in person anyway, I'm really just going to stockpile all my energy to bring you guys the best content possible going forward into the future. So with that being said, I'm going to give you guys a taste with this deck. So starting off with the list real fast, we have the 1 copy of Dynamite Knight, 2 copies of Maiden, and 3 copies of Ignis Heats. This is your standard True Draco engine. For our WindWitch engine, we're playing 3 Ice Bell, 1 Glass Bell, and 1 Snow Bell. Pretty standard stuff. You want to draw the Ice Bell, you don't want to draw the Glass or the Snow Bell. Drawing Snow Bell isn't so bad, drawing Glass Bell really hurts. 3 copies of Alistair, you want to see this card, this is your primary normal summon, and then just 3 copies of Ash Blossom to support. I don't like having to banish my Ignis Heats to go into Purgatrio, so we play the Ash Blossoms. Then we have the 3 copies of Diagram, 2 copies of Meltdown, and 1 copy of Terraforming. The reason we can play 2 copies is because we do have the flexibility of Terraforming. It acts as a 3rd copy if we draw the Diagram, but you don't want to draw 2 Meltdowns. Drawing 2 Diagrams isn't that bad. Your standard True Draco spell lineup, 3 Disciples, 3 Heritage, just good draw power. Same thing with the Spellbook engine. It has really good synergy with the Invoked engine, gets your Alistair off the board so you can go into your WindWitch plays afterwards. And it's just more deck thinning, plus dead cards really don't hurt so bad because of Diagram. So it's 3 Secrets, 1 Knowledge, standard stuff. 3 copies of Super Poly. This card is super important for this deck, as long as this card doesn't get banned between now and then. Which this is, of course, being recorded long before the format is ever legal, so this is just a rough draft. This is going to change quite a lot between now and April. 3 copies of Called by the Grave to protect us from hand traps. Once your WindWitch engine goes off, you're kind of safe from hand traps, but Called by the Grave kind of makes sure that goes through. It's always nice to have a backup plan. You can cut this for other extenders if you wanted to, but right now I like Called by the Grave. 1 copy of Invocation. I'll talk a little more about this when we get into the extra deck here in a minute. But essentially, Invocation is just necessary for your Invoked engine. And then 1 copy of True King's Return. You don't really want to see the trap cards going first so much, so I only play the 1 of just to be able to add into that pop. I'd rather have draw power. I'd rather have like a Super Poly or a Called by the Grave or something than a True Draco trap in my hand. Moving into the extra decks, I guess I'll start with the Link monsters. Starting off with Yugioh Skull Dread, 1 copy, just to give you that nice extender, fixes your hand, things like that. You can make some pretty good link plays. 1 copy of Nightmare Griffin. Now this is why we play 1 copy of Invocation, because say it gets judgmented or whatever and negated, you can then link into Griffin and reset your Invocation and still be able to do your Invoke plays. And this is acts like a skill drain, and when not everybody is playing Link monsters, this card's actually pretty good. Then we just have the rest of the Nightmare package, 1 Unicorn, 1 Phoenix, 1 Cerberus, just to be able to break boards and grind out with our opponent. Not to mention, it's pretty easy to co-link Cerberus and Phoenix once you've gone into Yugioh or Griffin. For our Synchros, we're just playing the 1 Winter Bell and the 1 Crystal Wing. We don't have necessary requirements to play the engine twice, so we only need 1 copy of each. For our Fusions, we have the 2 copies of Rajdin, probably the one you're going to be making the most often on your first turn, and then followed up by Purgatrio on your second turn just to kill people. Then we also have 2 copies of Elysium. This is mainly a Super Poly target. Any invoked monster plus any monster summoned from the extra deck lets you go into Elysium, which can then further disrupt your opponent. The 1 copy of Mechaba. The only reason we're playing Mechaba 1 instead of at 2 is because the only main deck way to go into it is after linking into Griffin, or side decking in the Jizukiru, because the main deck has no way of making Mechaba, so it's a nice little one-of just to disrupt your opponent's graveyard. And then finally, Starving Venom Fusion Dragon as just another good Super Poly target. So let's go ahead and get into the test hands here. We're going to start off with our basic combo. We're going to start off with Alistair plus Diagram plus Ice Bell. This is like the kind of stuff that you really want to see, and then I'm also going to give us 2 random cards to play out a normal hand. So we drew a dead copy of Meltdown and the 1 copy of True King's Return. So we're going to start off with our WindWitch engine. Start off by summoning the Ice Bell, which is going to summon the Glass Bell, which is going to search the Snow Bell, which you're then just going to summon, and now we're going to Synchro Summon. So it's very important where you place these monsters, really, because we're going to go into our Crystal Wing, and we're going to put our Crystal Wing right here underneath the extra monster zone, and that's so that way later on in the game, if you have to link into Griffin, you can summon it to this extra monster zone. It'll point to the Crystal Wing. It'll technically be linked, and that way Crystal Wing can still get its effect. Next, we're going to go ahead and use our Meltdown, get the Alistair search. This is really just Ash Blossom bait. But it's nice to just go ahead and get a free +1. Then we're going to go ahead and normal summon Alistair, search our Invocation. Then we're going to activate our diagram, set our return, pop the return, and search the heritage to get a free +1. That's going to get us into our knowledge, and that's going to let us draw an additional 2 cards. We're then going to tribute summons for Ignis, go ahead and Invocation, and banish out and make Rajdin. Now we put Rajdin in the extra monster zone because if we're going to link off, we're going to need the extra zones to be able to summon our extra link materials, and Rajdin will be one of the pieces that we link off, because going further into the game, we're going to try and make Purgatrio to try and go for the OTK. And then we recycle the Alistair. This is just a basic little combo. This is your basic 3-card combo with 2 random cards. Moving into our next combo, we're going to start off without the WindWitch engine. We're going to start with Diagram, Secrets, and Alistair. So moving in, we're going to start off, our random 2 cards this time are an Ash Blossom and a Super Poly, so neither of them are really playmakers. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the Secret, search the Knowledge. Then we're going to go ahead and normal summon the Alistair, search the Invocation. So that way, if the Alistair gets negated, we have the Knowledge to be able to go ahead and still play through it. And then we're going to go ahead and Knowledge, draw 2 cards. We're going to Disciples, and we draw into Disciples and the Ice Bell. And this is exactly why this engine has so much synergy together. Knowledge got Alistair off the field, so now we don't control, so now we control no monsters, so now we just go into our WindWitch engine to get our Crystal Wing and be able to protect the rest of our plays from hand traps, assuming that the WindWitch engine doesn't get disrupted. And like I said, we're going to summon Crystal Wing under the extra monster zone. It can be either or, it really doesn't matter, so just kind of pick. Then we're going to activate Diagram, activate Disciples, go for Heritage, shuffle up and get a free draw. We're going to draw a dead Spellbook of Secrets, but that's okay because we've got a heavy amount of interruption already. When things go off, we're going to then fusion into our Rajdin, recycle our Alistair, and this is going to be our final board. We're then going to set the Super Poly, and this is your end board. So you've got the Book of Moon effect from Rajdin, you've got the negate from Crystal Wing, we have the Ash Blossom in hand, then you can Super Poly your opponent, so that's 4 interruptions right there. Then you can go into Elysium, which can then further disrupt your opponent. So this is about 5 disruptions right here, and we still have plays going into next turn. Moving into our last hand, this hand is completely random. I just randomly dealt this out. We start off here with a Meltdown, double Ignis Heat, which is not that great, but we do have the Terraforming and the Ice Bell, so we've got access to our basic combo here. You're always going to want to start off with your WindWitch engine just to make sure that everything else is protected from hand traps. Basically, they have to disrupt this, otherwise everything else is pretty much safe. Go into the Crystal Wing, so now we're locked to only being able to special summon wind monsters. We're going to Meltdown, search Alistair, Terraforming, search Diagram. Then we're going to normal activate Diagram, pop the Ignis to search Heritage, activate the Heritage Tribute for Ignis, search the Invocation, banish off, and we still end with 2 disruptions, and we're able to search our next true Draco spell. That was a misclick there, excuse me. Shuffle back the Invocation, add the Alistair to hand, and this is our end board. Just a basic little thing. We have the Ignis to be able to continue to grind for next turn, and we have a pretty solid amount of disruptions. As long as you play your disruptions smartly, this should be enough to deal with most decks. But that's all I've got for this video, you guys. If you did enjoy this video, please be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And if you want to find other ways to support the channel, check out the description. But most importantly, don't forget, be a scrub. Peace.